Welcome to Weird Games and Weirder People, a podcast about role-playing games and the weird, wonderful people behind them. Hello, wonderful weirdos. This is Diogo Nogueira, and welcome to Weird Games and Weirder People. Today's guest is a very special guest. He's a fellow RPG Latam creator. I'm talking about Fellipe da Silva, or Cool Way Inc., as you might know him in the social medias. He's the creator of Forgotten Ballad, this fantastic fantasy RPG inspired by, Legend of Zelda, which is published by Bloat Games. He's also working on The Way, which is a very interesting way of doing fantasy game. We will talk more about that in a bit. But before that, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to the show wherever you listen to your podcast. Leave us a review, tell people what you think about the show, and if you can, support the show, sharing it with your friends, with your gaming group on social media, whatever, writing on walls, somewhere out there, And if you have any coins left from your life adventure, we have links down there on the show notes where you can buy us a coffee at Ko-Fi or get one of my games on Drive-Thru RPG, itch.io, or anything else. And I have an announcement. If you're in Brazil, we have listeners in Brazil, I'll be on Diversão Offline this Friday and this weekend, so I'll see you there. We'll get to gaming. And talking about Fellipe again, we talk about parenthood and how being a parent makes you examine your priorities, your life, your goals. We talk about the relentless pursuit of making things that sometimes we get. We talked about Akira Toriyama and how this artist was super inspirational to him, guided him to make these games fantastical, silly, and very fun. We talk about how the main mechanic of role-playing games is actually, the conversation we have at the table. We talk about The Way, which is this new weird fantasy game he's making. We talked about the many hobbies that he has. We talked about curiosity. It was a really, really great episode. Very inspiring. I hope you like it as much as I did. I loved it. So let's get weird with Fellipe da Silva. Hi Fellipe, welcome to Weird Games and Weirder People. It's great to have you here. So how have you been, my friend?
Hello Diogo. It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure. It's wholesome to be here. I'm kind of recovering for a cold that I get. Yeah, like a flu, but getting good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. In the beginning of the week, I thought I was getting a clue too. I hate those. It's a weird feeling. I don't know if you have the too, because I can sense the flu coming. It's like I'm high without using anything. I feel almost kind of high but tired, Like, oh, I didn't use anything. Why am I high? Why am I tired? Like, yeah, it's a fucking flu coming. But, I don't know what happened. I started taking some, anti-allergenics, allergenic stuff. And I'm holding so fast. So far I'm holding okay. But I feel there's a flu coming, and Diversão Offline is coming too, which are our convention here in Brazil. And like, oh, please don't make me get sick during Diversão Offline. So I'm afraid, because it's autumn. It's that time of the year we all get sick here. So I'm like, please don't wait a few weeks at least. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the week of Mother's Day, and also my child's birthday, and everybody is always like seeking in this time of the year, because of the temperature, like switching, the weather switching. And I live in a really dry place, and it's
Where do
kind
you
of
live?
weird. Ribeirão Preto. It's on the countryside of São Paulo.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
used to call it's like a hole in the ground, because when we are coming
Yeah,
to
I went
Ribeirão,
there.
yeah, it's super hot, and you can see the city way there below us.
Isn't there's like the penguin bar? It's like this
Yes,
huge. Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes.
Everybody knows
I
this
went
place.
there.
Yeah.
My cousin had his wedding there in Ribeirão Preto. They live in. I have a part of my father's family is from São Paulo, and I was living there during the time of his wedding. Yeah.
I don't know
Fil-
what is about this city that everybody knows it and pass it through here or come to here. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
guys want in Ribeirão Preto? It's just a weird city.
yeah. It's people like a lot of beer there. And I like beer is a big thing. I think and people talk a lot about this bar that has this huge
Yeah,
serpentine for the draft beer to come extremely cold on the order
yeah.
on the end, and I know people, maybe from the United States and Europe, and like, wow, super cold beer, that's horrible. You can't
Yeah.
taste the beer. Yeah, that's true. But here in Brazil, it's like so freaking hot. You
So
just
hot.
wanna, something, to, I don't know, vaporize as it touches your tongue.
Yeah, as you're getting drunk and like getting the sweat away and
Yeah.
it's all about that.
Felipe, for the wonderful weirdos that are listening to us who might not know who Felipe da Silva is, what is that you do, can you share just a small saying who are you, what is that you do, and if you can share a small word detail about yourself, maybe the way you do coffee or you choose your clothes, or I don't know, any particular weird thing you notice about you.
Sure. So I'm Felipe da Silva. I'm from Ribeirão Preto. Calvin's daddy. I got a small kiddo. It's 4 years old right now. I got two cats, Gamera and Bowie. But people probably know me from Forgotten Ballad. It's a little RPG
Mm-hmm.
that I wrote. I'm also working on The Way that some people are commenting about right now. Uh, and I'm also a graphic designer. I have a degree in graphic design, but I work mostly as a product designer, service designer, and digital designer. I think I did a little bit of design in different fronts during my career. I'm doing it by some time right now. And also, I'm illustrator. And as you can guess, as my wife used to say, uh, it's kind of weird that I have so much interesting and hobbies, and I'm always doing like a lot of stuff and doing a lot of projects. Uh, Never finishing it, but like doing a lot of things at the same time. I also had like there's a moment in my life that I had like a comic group doing coloring. I had some game projects. I had like two bands at the same times.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's not all of that at the same time though. Like it's not like five
yeah,
projects, three bands, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because now you have a kid too, so you have to, slow down
Yeah,
quite a bit.
sure.
True.
That's a thing that forced me the most to like choose what I will have to like prioritize, and it was like a super uh, what would I say, like a revealing, like a insightful experience for me because I had so little time for myself in the beginning, and that I had to choose what to do. And I
Yeah.
remember like passing we are having we had Calvin during the COVID pandemic, so most of the first months with him we are doing all by ourselves, just me and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after some months I took some time to prepare a meal for us, and something clicking in my head like, oh my god, I really need to do stuff, I really need to create stuff. And I was so satisfied with the pasta I was doing for us that I something clicked in my head that there was, man, I need to put something in the world. Nobody needs to see it, but I need to create something. Even if
Yeah.
it's just like
For
a
you, no?
simple pasta for me and my wife, that's enough.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of shifting the focus not on maybe, having a project and people buying stuff, but just creating the
Yep.
process of creating, like this exercise, this which is for me it's kind of a therapy. And I kind of
Yeah,
went to something similar, and for various reasons got away from my time creating and was really focused on doing stuff at the house, at the work, and in family and
yeah,
stuff. What I realized, I also miss the creative parts so much. It's kind of I say it's like a therapy. Yeah, I have to at least every day do something, even if it's something small. Uh, it feeds my soul in a way. It
yeah.
makes me feel like I'm doing something. I don't know.
I,
It's
I,
also, but it also makes me feel bad. And I mean, like, do I really have to feel this need to? I don't know if that's obsession we have because of capitalism that we have to be productive every day.
yeah,
So I'm always split between these two. Oh yeah, I need to create every day because I'll feel final, or is that this relentless feeling that we have to always be producing? So I don't know what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of bounced it in this team as well, and I was discussing not long time ago with my therapist about that because I got this little obsession of and the pursuit of doing something, this relentless feeling that you were saying.
Yeah.
But I'm also I'm not the type of person, and she said to me that I was weird because of it, because I'm not the kind of person that bothers about goals, like big goals. I don't have like big goals. We were talking about that because people on work, it was like asking me if I had like goals to be a leader or a reference in my career, and I can't imagine me in this spot. I don't bother to be famous or to be a leader of some people. I just want to do my stuff, man. I just want to create my stuff and don't
Yeah.
be bothered. So for me, I recognize this feeling that. I'm most worried to get occupied and do stuff and create stuff. I also feel that it fulfills my soul and like uh, make the life complete for me. But I'm not trying to reach like nothing different. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
super rich. I'm not trying to be like super famous. I just want to be. It's nice to be recognized
Yeah, of
and
course. Yeah.
for the things we do and people get in touch with it, but it's not the main goal. For me, it's not the main
Yeah.
goal.
And have you always been like this? Have you always had this focus more on the craft, on the making, on the process instead of the goal, or is that something you realized after you had your kids and you became more mature, or like 10 years ago you would be like, oh, I have to, sell, I have to win an award, or
Yeah.
how is it?
uh, I think it was on me, like always was there, but was a thing that I realized it just like recently, because
Mm-hmm.
I think at the beginning of my career and great part of my career, I was pursuing, like grasping to all opportunities that I had, even if I didn't like the stuff that I was doing. And there was also a time when I was feeling like a little guilt about the decisions I had in my career, like I made this decision, and now I'm in a position that I don't like that much. I miss the crafting, and but everybody is taking this decision to be in a leader position in a
Mm-hmm.
greater company. And 2 years ago, I was like in a reference position, not in a leadership position, because
Mm-hmm.
I already realized that it was not for me. But I was
Yeah.
in a reference position in a big company, and I was so miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And I took some steps back, and I went back to a small studio on my town, and working on little projects, working
Yeah.
mainly on my projects as well, and it's so much better for me.
Yeah.
It fits me really well. But I people still bothers me with these questions like, oh, why you don't want to be a leader? Why you don't want to be in
Yeah.
a greater position, greater company? No, man.
Yeah. People have this notion that life is always upwards. The trajectory is always you want a more, 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 and
Yes.
that's not natural. That doesn't
No.
happen anywhere. And also, it's one of the reasons you have all this economic crisis because we expect everything to always be growing and growing and growing. That's impossible. And
Makes
and
sense.
that's the same thing. Like I remember in my day job, uh, I learned things and got to do things very quickly. So technical stuff. So I got the day job work very fast and was doing more stuff than the other people that were beginning with me. And so like, oh, well, this guy is very good. So naturally they want you because you're good. Oh, this guy has to be a leader. He has to be a
Yeah.
boss, guys. So they offered me, and because I really liked my boss back then, which is not the same one that is right now.
Oh, sadly.
uh, and I accepted, and I became like a sub boss in kind of a way, you know.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and it was terrible. It sucks, right? Because you're not only responsible, you're responsible for everybody's jobs, and everybody has a small problem and come to you. I hate it. I hate being a boss. It's terrible. It's not
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
terrible.
The same thing for creating stuff. I love creating like you. I love making my art, writing, and making all the. I make the book ready to print, but I don't want to deal with printer. I don't want to deal with distribution. I don't want to deal with a lot
Yes.
of the more business part of the job.
Totally.
That a lot of creators start to getting recognized. They they turn themselves into a publisher, and that part of the job starts consuming the creative part, and I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can't. I won't. And I think that's very similar to what you're saying, and
Yeah.
knowing what you want to do, what makes sense. The problem with work is like, oh, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work in a work that doesn't make sense to them. You know,
Yeah. Totally.
like
Totally.
like my day job is a tax collector. I studied taxes. Oh, who has a lot of money will contribute it to who has less. So that makes a lot of sense. I would love my job if that was really my job, but
Yeah.
it's not. Who has money doesn't pay taxes. Who will pay taxes are me, you, and poor people. So the job doesn't make fucking sense. But
Yeah.
it's what pays the bill. But that's the kind of thing. So you have to find. So I find things that make sense to me. I can help people here, but as a boss, I won't be able to do that. So uh, we have to find what works for us, even if it's not the most prestigious or give more money, right? We
Yeah.
have to define what's success for us, because we're saying like, you would want this or that. Those are all external things, right? Oh, I have to desire what others will give me, and I want only be happy if those people give me this. You'll never be happy because you will always want more, and people, you can't have everything. So you have this. Our reference for success and happiness should be something dependent on us in a way, right? So I think that's the healthy way to look at this. I don't know. What do you think about that's when you're realizing those things about your job?
Yeah. I'm tending to like ground myself now more on those things that I feel that complete me more, like the people I relate to, the people that I love, the people that are close to me, but also my art, the craft that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also lucky, like to have. I like my job. I like what I do, but it's it's like you said. It's not something with like a super
Meaningful, yeah.
yeah, it's not meaningful. I was passionate about service design when I met it because I imagined myself like doing, whoa, I can redesign how people interact with their
Mm-hmm.
their health, with their education, and sometimes that's true, but most of the time we are doing like this in a private uh,
Company.
in a private company, in a private sense, and behind people that are only looking for more profit.
More
And
profit. Yeah.
yeah, and it's meaningless for me. It's meaninless. It pays the bills. I need to pay the
Yeah.
bills,
Yeah.
and I'm
That's
also
the thing.
lucky because today I'm able to like have a day in a week that I can dedicate only to my personal projects.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I can do that right now because of my career, and for now that's kind of enough to fulfill me as a person. Like I put all
Yeah.
my energy on my projects
Yeah.
and helping other people's projects. This week I just delivered some illustrations for a small zine here in Brazil, and it's so cool like to be able to do that stuff, to help other people put their work out there. And but also I'm trying. It's hard for me, Diogo, because uh, I like to work. I like to do stuff, and it's not
Yeah.
like I don't bother about my work. I bother, but it's it's meaningless. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's about pay the bills.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try
Yeah.
to ground myself in other stuff.
Of course, yeah, of course. I even though there's all this stuff that I don't like about my work, I also try to very hard to internalize the things that are good about it, so I am able to do the work too, right? Because there are good things, there are good people there too. We manage to help, the citizens when we can,
Yeah,
and I also think if I wasn't here, because I know there are other colleagues of mine that don't try to help at all, so like even though this is not great, I still can make a difference here. It might
yeah,
not be a big difference, but I can still make it. Like for example, there are some of my colleagues won't report to the citizen that they have money to ask back. And like, oh no, they have to figure out by themselves. And like, that's cruel. I go there like, oh hey, you might have something to ask back. Go here to ask some money back. Those small things. It might
yeah,
not be too much, but it's something. So it kind of makes, oh yeah, I did something good today, and kind of makes me feel more okay with this job
yeah,
that sometimes I in a corrupt country, you collect taxes, you feel more if the taxes were returned to servers, I would feel great. But
yeah.
sometimes I feel like I'm kind of a legalized gangster for the government. Like I'm
I
like
got it.
him, right? It feels like that sometimes, especially here in Rio, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
Yeah,
great. I never been there, but the tales are
yeah.
spreaded.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh, Felipe, one of the themes here in the podcast is the weird, which is very unique to each person. We kind of have this very positive way of seeing it, and this catchphrase that we like to say is "Weird's the new wonderful." But I'd like to hear from you. What do you think is weird? Can you try to define what is weird for you?
yeah. Uh, I think the weird depends a lot of what is common and what is regular, because I think part of the weird is its charm. It's charm because the weird depends on the contrast. You only see something weird because uh, everything is so regular, everything's so normal, and mostly when we see weird in the world, when we see weird in pieces of art and media, it's usually more about uh, the regular, how the other stuff are are there, and the weird appears like this little charm, this little strange thing, but it's not. I don't think weird is more discreet than it's strange. Weird is it's elegant for me in a way because it appears like uh, you don't
It's like
say
this
like
this small question, like this: what if? just
Yeah,
changed this, you know.
exactly. And I love when weird appears in media, like uh, it's there. You feel this thing as strange, as weird, but people in the media are not reacting to it, and sometimes something weird in the world happen, and, and you question yourself, why is not everybody like talking
Why
about
is
that?
no one talking about this? Yeah.
Yeah, why
Do you
that
remember one recent thing that this kind of thing happened, or no?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but I
but sometimes like little things like the sky is different today, and it's there, it's huge, and people are no, noticing it, and that's
mm,
weird. Yeah,
yeah.
you know. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
or I remember a time when I was getting back to my home in a bus, and I look at the window and I saw this girl like collecting small rocks, like this construction little construction rocks, and putting it in a bottle, and nobody was noticing
Oh
her.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, that is so weird. This girl is doing magic and nobody is noticing. it's
Yeah.
it's just strange. It's this little. I remember
Yeah,
also
I know
getting
what you
back
mean now,
home
yeah.
like 2 a.m. and there was a girl dancing in the garage and in the parking lot, and like, okay, nobody was seeing her, but that's kind of weird. That
Yeah.
feels like magical in a way, you know.
Yeah. Like those days, like sunny days, and you see this weird person wearing really antique clothes and wearing like a umbrella or something walking around like,
Yeah,
what the fuck is going on here? And
yeah.
everybody just passing around doing their going their own way, like going buy groceries, and nobody says anything. You're like, is anybody seeing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's usually the time that when I question myself, like, do I have some kind of magical power? Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing a magical being, nobody is noticing it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did anybody put something in my coffee or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm always talking to when my wife is usually around. I say to her, that must be two things, or they are committing a crime, or they are doing like magic. It's one of the two.
Yeah. Or drugs. I don't know.
Or drugs. It could be
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah. By the way, talking about the weird,
Yep.
do you seek that strange and discreet what if elegance in your work and in the stuff that you do in your life in general too?
Yes, for sure. I think in my life I'm trying to be more comfortable with being weird, because I'm kind of good in like hide my weird parts in the world, like and do the talking and pretend to be okay with things, but inside I'm just getting weird about it, and mostly in social things when I want I'm a
Yeah.
late diagnosed ADHD guy, so I got my problems with social stuff and um, something like that. But I'm really
Yeah.
used. I am in my 30s, so I'm really used to pretend that I'm okay with situations. So
Yeah.
I'm kind
I
of
know what you
learning
mean. Yeah.
to 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 be weird around people.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's hard
it's hard. It's hard.
to
It's definitely hard.
find the people you feel safe to do that too.
Yeah.
It's very hard because sometimes you have very close people to you that grew up with you, but they like you, they didn't know you have ADHD, so it's hard
Exactly.
for them to understand that, and it's something we are learning here too. And what you're saying, like in social situations, I catch myself repeating, "Oh, don't say that, don't say that. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. Think about something else." Like they say something comes to my mind. Oh, no, no, hold that. Don't say that. Don't interrupt them. Don't. I have to. It's a really it's almost a conscious effort. I say to
Yeah,
my wife that sometimes, social situations, I feel like I'm always flexing a muscle. That's why sometimes I need to be alone for a while, because it's like when I go out to work, I'm flexing this muscle for the entire time, and then I get home, I'm like, super
yeah,
tired.
super
Yeah,
tired and stressed, and for me, it's hard to like perceive it, to notice it right now. But I'm learning,
yeah,
and but I get you. I have like this constant sensation, like trying to pay attention of what people are saying, and in my brain I'm like, pay attention, Felipe, pay attention, and I'm not paying attention. I just saying to myself to pay attention. But
yeah,
now with some people, I'm kind of more comfortable to say, I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention, can you repeat, can you say like
yeah,
differently? But in some kind of situation I'm not able to do that, so I try to
for
like
sure.
take notes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's about the things that I said without putting too much thought on it, just say it without thinking about. And I usually like goes around it and make jokes to and right now I'm sorry, man. I just speak my mind without thinking
Yeah,
about. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Uh, most people that are surrounding me now, they get it, but there's some kind of places where I don't feel comfortable to do that, and that's
yeah,
okay too. I think it's part of what it's sad, but uh, it's part of life.
yeah.
But I think I only answered half of your question.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it's about the life stuff. What about your work? Like,
yeah.
how do you
Uh,
seek the word when you're creating and working on your craft?
I think it's part of my work. I like to think that it's a natural part of my work to like seek the weirdness. It's almost like an expression of myself
Yeah.
to put in that way. And right now I'm working on a game that I'm kind of worried and most working on its aesthetics, and part of it it's about being weird. It's about being out of place because it's supposed to be a fantasy game, a classical fantasy game, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not it's not simple as that. It will be like a compatible compatible with OSR games
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, but it has like these small classes where you can be like a dog, or you can be like a dream walker, and but you are doing like dungeon crawling and normal dungeon crawler, but people are eating acai, and they are dogs, and they are using
Mm-hmm.
shoes, and just small things, and robots are common. And I'm not worried about explain why. It's just there. And I remember like reading something. uh, I think was when Akira Toriyama passed away, and Akira Toriyama was like a super inspiration, super formative inspiration in person for me, his work. And I remember in this text in the I think it was on the OSR blogosphere, and it was a text about how Akira Toriyama's work was all weird and all over the place with ninjas, dinosaurs, and robots, but he don't bother to explain it. It was just there. there are animal peoples talking. There are dinosaurs. There are aliens, and he's not bothered about like explaining and doing all this uh,
Exposition.
exposition. Yes, in his work, he was telling another things, and it's so charming for me. This is so inspirational, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I try to bring it to my work, especially in the RPG scene. I think in Forgotten Ballad, if you are familiar with the game, I think I have only one paragraph about the lore, uh, but most of the world is building around the tables
Yeah.
in the game, and some things just don't make sense. You have to figure it out how the things will connect with themselves. And from this new game, I want to go deeper in this sense. Like, will I don't wanna even to want to bother about writing one paragraph. I will just throw it all into tables and people will figure it out. I hope people like it, but
Yeah.
I think will be weirder than the last game.
Yeah. I mean, I love this part of making lore and the themes and the vibe of the game something that's gameable. There are on tables, there are on rules even, and I
Yeah.
think Morkborg is a great example of
Yes.
this. It's they do have like a small part of the setting, but a lot of how things work or who people are, what they do, the kind of things they wear, they carry. It's all on the rules, on the tables, and I do that a lot too, like with random tables, and now with Petty Gods, I'm doing this with character creation stuff to put parts of the world there, but leaving some. You don't explain exactly everything. Like you might talk about maybe a festival, and then you have this unique name for it, but they don't explain exactly what the festival is on the table. So
Yeah.
the people are invited in to create with you too. Like they know this exists, so you give them like a prompt, right?
Yes.
And they finish uh, building a world with you. Like it's like collaborative world building between the author and the people playing it, and every table will be a little different, which is kind of fantastic, right? It's kind of a
Yeah. For me, it is.
multiverse of your
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. And I never was into like those heavy lord games like these big scenarios, these
yeah.
big
That's homework.
modules. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I
that's
want to
homework.
play. I
Yeah,
like games that put me on the table to play like as quickly as possible and with as
yeah,
many tools, because I think what people struggle the most with RPGs is to make the game happen. Is to put the game out of the book and
yeah,
make it happen.
yeah,
It's so hard to like schedule a section of RPG
yeah,
to put like one or two, three, four people at the same time
yeah,
in the same moment to play
yeah.
something.
It's kind of
You
those big board games. Like, well, let's play this board game, and you start putting it together. 3 hours go by. You finish like,
yeah
oh no, I don't want to play anymore. Yeah,
yeah I'm tired.
yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of the sensation. So I try to do that in my work as well, to work with more uh, fast games, simpler games, but also games that give enough tools for you to put on table as quickly as possible.
yeah. And talking about weird now and RPGs, the things you're making, do you think RPGs by themselves are something weird? And even if you do or do not, what is your favorite part of role playing games?
Well, RPGs are definitely weird for me. It's like you can. It's hard to put small kids to play RPG right from the beginning, except to with the expectation we kind of have when we are grown-ups. But it's weird to see like a couple of grown-ups around the table and laughing and play pretend. It's kind of weird, but it's so much fun. It can be
Yeah.
so silly when you see it from outside. And for me today, that maybe it's the best part to see people, to see my friends uh, being silly and forgetting a little bit about the world and connecting to that world we are sharing together and building together. I usually don't think that the RPGs are a great tool to like do to execute like planned stories, as some
Yeah.
people say. But the stories that happen in the game, those are like the juice.
Yeah.
It's the awesome thing that happened, like this. Uh, it's funny because everybody has like a little story about their table and in their games, and it's only special because they were there, they were creating it, they were
Yeah.
living it.
They had the agents to do that stuff.
Yeah,
Like they were
exactly.
responsible for that what happened, That's the
And
thing.
I think I'm also a big fan of video games, and I think video games they shine when they understand the kind of media that they are, when they usually do things that is not possible in other media, when they distance themselves from like medias like
Cinema. Yeah.
cinema and books, and do stuff that is only possible when you are interacting with
Mm-hmm.
it. And in the case of RPGs are so special because they are different from video games, they are different from board games, because we are interacting with the world in a conversation. And 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 I see a lot of designers worried about how we are gonna put some tabletop mechanics into RPGs, what kind of dice you are going to play. But the main mechanic is the conversation. We are interacting with the challenge, we are interacting with the world, with the conversation. That's the main mechanic, and we have so much to explore in this matter.
Oh yeah.
And for me, that's so special. We are only in the beginning of explore the RPG full potential of what we can do with it, and what kind of games, different interactions we are doing, different ways to
Absolutely. Yeah.
explore this kind of fiction. So it's, for me, it's fantastic. It's so, you say RPG, see in my mind the people that played with me, my friends around the table, laughing, planning, involving in a kind of work that doesn't exist, but
Yeah.
we it matters so much to us. And it's so good when I receive from people that are playing my game. Oh, we had a great time
Oh yeah.
playing your game. That's
It's a
that's
great feeling. Yeah.
that's my payment. it's
Yes,
it's
it
when
is.
things get completed for me.
Yeah. Sometimes you're having a bad day and like you have some trouble, at work, at home, things, you know, everybody's kind of stressed out and you're like, oh, this sucks. And you get this email, hey, I love your game. I've been playing with my kids or something like this. And
Yeah,
you're like, fuck yeah, this
yeah, man.
the world is all right again.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. We'll have a brighter future.
Yeah. Philip, do you have any kind of creative ritual, something that you do to maybe help you get into the mood of working on your writing, on your art, or anything like this that you do before start, before you sit down and do the work?
I should have, but I'm a mess with that, man. I'm so bad with my creative work, but I feel that I'm.
Do you
Uh,
try to have any kind of routine? I know,
yes,
you're late diagnosed ADHD, so that's probably very hard. Uh, You
Uh-huh.
know, I have a very hard time with this, but I try to do just something that propels me towards making stuff. You know, so I try to
Yeah.
be someone regular. Do you have anything you try to? Do you have a habit of working every day on your stuff, or how you said you have 1 week to do your personal projects? How does that work?
Yeah, I have usually my Friday is dedicated to RPG stuff or other projects, more personal projects. Sometimes I had to like fit freelance projects on my Friday, but I usually try to on Friday especially to spend more time waking up, but with less phone, with less contact with screens. I try to
Yes,
I try to get to my phone only after I drink my coffee. So I do all the
excellent.
stuff. I clean the litter box of the kitties. I
Mm-hmm.
do my coffee. I prepare something to eat. And when I'm about like super ready to sit down and start to work, I grab my phone, and I don't even know if that's it's the best moment to do that. Maybe I should like do it a little bit later. But and then I start to work. I try to in the best days I try to write a little bit about what I have to do in that day, because for me it's so easy to like get lost in a lot of stuff and get paralyzed by the stuff that I have to do. Uh,
Yeah.
the
Lists you have to do lists, this kind of stuff that helps you
yes, yeah.
ground yourself. Oh, I have to fucking do this. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me the contact with paper, it's something really important for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
when I do it on paper, uh, or when I'm struggling to like, I'm right now I'm struggling. I want to do like a small zine to go in Diversão Offline, this event you mentioned in the beginning
In
of.
2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I got some ideas, but yeah, as you can see, I'm really struggling to put it down. But I think if I can do it on paper, directly on paper, it will flow. So usually when I'm struggling with something, I take a pause, pick up one of the many notebooks I have or many
Yeah.
papers I have around me. If I show you around, you see like it's a mess, man. It's a lot of painting and
Yeah. Well, I have a upside
drawing stuff.
down chair behind me, so here is not
Uh,
that great too, you know.
I was wondering if it was like a piece of art or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's an upside down chair. It was chair for my mother's home, and she moved away, and she didn't have a
Uh,
place to put the chair. And like,
so
yeah, we
there it
can get
is.
a chair, but we haven't figured out where we're putting this. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think this contact
yeah,
with paper,
paper.
pen and paper, it unlocks my brain to do the stuff that I need to do, and
Yeah.
especially to get organized about what I have to do. Because man, it's so easy for me to like. And right now I'm
Out
working
of
in.
sight, out of mind, as they say, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I think the best managers that worked with me was the ones that understand it, that sometimes I just get stuck in a lot of stuff that I need to do. And in my mind, I'm so paralyzed that I think that everything is going to be late, that I won't be able to complete the deadlines. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember one manager that I had that she sit next to me, put a paper on the table, a lot of post-its, sticky notes, and start. Okay, list to me what we have to do. So today you are going to do that. Tomorrow you're going doing that. Tomorrow afternoon you're doing that, and suddenly everything was so clear for me. Oh, I'm actually able to do this. But
Yeah.
it's like it's crazy in my head and I have to put down on paper, and paper is absolutely
Yes.
my friend. But sometimes I forget it totally. I get
Yeah,
it like
I totally understand. Like this to-do list, I also have like a notebook like this, and I keep notes of the stuff that I have to do, and I cross it over, and I try to divide. I do like those bullet points, right? And when something like a task is complex, I write the text and like the bullet points, but I mark a C to the side, the macros are complex. So as I work to it, I start doing like those squares, like mark 1, 2, 3, 4, to
oh,
see
that's
like, oh, I'm
cool.
working on it. Even though it's not complete, I mark it's complex, and like every day I work a little bit, like imposto de renda, like the revenue taxes. Like there's
Yes,
a lot of stuff to do, so I put it there, and because the more time passes, you aren't finished. You start to get nervous, like, oh, this is a long time. I can't finish, but I wasn't able to finish at one sitting, so I come up with this. Oh, it's a complex text, and I start marking those squares that you like, and then after a while I finish it. So it kind of makes me see that I'm progressing towards finishing that.
that's so important.
Because it's like uh I have to write this game, and I'm writing that game. Like it takes forever. I'm not.
Yes,
You get this feeling that that's not nothing is progressing. Like you're like, oh, I'm working so much. I'm super tired. This thing is never gonna get finished, and you give up. So I like you can also divide it too. Like write the introduction chapter. Write this. Divide the task so you finish parts of it and you feel better, right? Because when you
yes.
mark something, you go to the next. You get this feeling like, oh, I can do this. So it's also cool to put tasks there that you know you can finish, right? Because that
Yeah,
will give you maybe a boost to finish the ones you think you can't. So yeah,
something that I learned, but it's hard for me to remember to always do that. But it's to break things, especially those like
big
huge tasks.
projects. Yeah,
Yeah, big projects. Part to make it happen is to break things as soon as possible.
yeah,
Uh, I was like writing a little bit of a game this morning. I had like 30 minutes pause. I think, oh, I think I can write a little bit.
yeah.
And I was struggling so much to put something down on paper that it clicked for me. Oh, I need to plan it. I need to break down the game and to see what I need to write. So I need to write this rule. I need to write this chapter,
Mm-hmm.
and you're breaking down, and things are more tangible, more
Yeah,
on your hands.
absolutely. Are you working on any particular project right now you would like to maybe tell us a little bit more about the way, and what would be maybe your weirdest favorite part of it?
Yeah. So working slowly on the way right now. I think I burn out a little bit working on Forgotten Ballad,
Oh
and
yeah,
like I think I did, yes, was for crowdfunding last week, last year for Forgotten Ballad. I did
for
the
here in
first,
Brazil, right?
yeah, I
Oh,
did the first one in February, another one in Kickstarter with Eric from Blood
yeah,
Games.
both games.
Yeah, I did one for Monster Book and another one in Brazil. And in Brazil was so hard. Was a huge campaign, like 60 days, and it was so hard to
Yeah,
get it completed. In the
but
US,
you offered a lot of stuff, right? You offered more stuff than in the US, right?
yeah, yeah, we offer like
Yeah,
extra monsters, two extra chapters,
yeah,
and I had to do. And by December, I was, oh my god, I can't like look at this project no more. I
yeah.
want to do stuff more slowly right now. So I'm writing the way I wrote the first version last year for a jam with the thesis that I could have like small classes and progression, character progression based on quests. And it worked out, but it gave the game a sense of individuality that I didn't like it. So I changed a little
Mm-hmm.
bit on how the XP works and other things in the game. And now quests are based on quests. Uh, Progression is based on quests, but
Quest.
it's a group quest. The group decides what kind of things they need to do to get XP in the game, and
Oh,
then they
cool.
they decide.
So it's
So
not the GM who says, "Oh, you guys, that's the amount for this and that's for that." It's the group that says, "Oh,
yeah,
what our goals are this,"
exactly.
and okay, yeah, because that's one of the worries I have with this milestone or XP for quests is like the GM is deciding what is worth or not, and so I always like this game that have this procedure to how to calculate the XP that's independent for what the GM wants you to do. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, it's like it's a railroad, right? Oh, we have
yeah.
to do what he wants. Yeah.
And XP it's a so important driver of the game. You
Mm-hmm.
you put the XP there, and the players will pursue it. And when you delivers it to the player, you give them so much agency, because they even in the play test something happened that they decided to do a quest, and in the middle of that they decided to get back. So they 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 decided not to take that path and replan it how they are going to get XP, and that's okay. It's on them. It's their game, and it's awesome to see people are liking this kind of
Mm-hmm.
driver. And right now I'm trying to refine a little bit of the rules, refine a little bit of the text. I think this part is it's it's looking good, it's working around. But in the first version I had like 20 small classes. I'm trying to expand it and get it weirder, to 36 36 small classes. And
Mm-hmm.
but I want to also to write my own monster book, and my own. And for me the most important part, it's the tools to help build the adventures, the dungeons, the setting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's the setting tables that I want to work really hard. I have just a little bit of that. There's a lot of work to be put on that, a lot of things to stress a little bit and refine. But the game it's open right now. I have both an English version and a Portuguese version that is on my Notion. Both are then are open as I'm writing on them. uh,
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that are as at least a little bit organized, so you everybody can check it out. I can
Yeah.
pass
Yeah.
you the links before after the conversation.
Yeah. Please do. We'll put on the show notes so people can
Yeah,
check it out. Because I'm curious to see what would be how is that how do they define the XP? There's any kind of rules to determine how much XP something will be worth, or how how is that determined by the group?
it's actually simple. I give them I think it's 80 80 frameworks that is related to the kind of group that they are. So
Hmm.
if they are like a troupe of artists, they have to make a piece about an adventure. So they go adventuring, and maybe they do like a theater piece, or they painting something. There's the circle group that they need to recover some secret, or they need to recover some knowledge. And when they do discover something new, they gain XP. The
Yeah.
heroes gain XP when they save people, or save places, important
Yeah. Cool.
people.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So there is this frameworks, but usually uh, the players take the framework and define it more specifically what they are doing. So, our objective is to deal with these bandits. They are uh, threatening the village around here. So they define it more specifically. What is the objective? Oh, we are going to save this merchant that is going missing and stuff like that. And but it's simple as that. It's usually I give them a framework, they discuss a little bit, but not that much, and they are ready to go.
Awesome. That sounds really interesting. Certainly want to check it out and see how
Oh,
to
cool.
adapt that. And yeah, and Pretty Gods, one of the games I'm making, has something similar, like depending of the type of god and term of the kind of things you pick on character creation. Every kind of god will get XP like in different ways, right? They
Oh,
have to
that's
do
cool.
different things. Yeah, so that's something I'm looking into to research and learn from each other, which is always great.
Yeah,
I don't know if it
and
disconnected something. I don't think so.
I'm
Okay.
still hearing you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it seems
uh,
all good.
yeah.
Uh,
Hello, wonderful weirdos. This is Diogo Nogueira again, and today I'd like to talk to you about one of my favorite games, a game that I created. And you know, if you listen to the podcast, I love dinosaurs, and it's called Primal Quest. It is a weird stone and sorcery adventure game. It's a NSR game, which is this game that caters to the old school style of play, but has more modern and more cinematic gameplay adapted to our modern sensibilities. It has adventure with dinosaurs, ancient civilizations, spirity, sorcery, aliens, elder gods, and much, much more. It's very pulpy. It has, a complete rule set, a mini hex scroll, an adventure introductory adventure. You can find it at Exalted Funeral, itch.io, Drive-Thru RPG, and your best local game store. And we're releasing more and more stuff for it, so stay tuned and play Primal Quest. So let's get back to the weird with our chat.
go
I,
ahead.
I was gonna ask you, do you identify any maybe main source of inspirations? Oh no,
Watch,
you can hear that, right?
watch. I don't know.
Yeah. You hear a noise or no noise? Okay,
Just a little bit noise, but
okay, yeah.
nothing to worry
Well,
about.
the neighborhood is doing something upstairs, so I hope we won't be listening too much. But anyway, let me get into my question. What I mean is, do you identify any main source of inspiration for when you draw ideas from your work? I mean, as creators and artists, we're always drawing, from everything around us, our experiences, other games we're playing. But I myself, I see drawing a lot from the media I was to consume as a kid, which was kind of my refuge from this chaotic world, and I was like an autistic kid with very specific interests. So I was really into that stuff, and even though I consume a lot of other stuff that keeps influencing me, there's always these elements from that place that keep sipping in my work. Do you have anything like this for you? Any period of life or any aspect of culture? Any place you consciously draw a lot from?
Yeah, I can surely relate to that because I think the things that was part of my childhood uh, it's still the things that keep inspiring me a lot. And I talk a little bit about Akira Toriyama's work and how it influenced not only my illustrations but also my games. And the games that I run, the games that I write, I think there's a lot of his silliness in my games, the kind of humor, childish
Mm-hmm.
humor of his in my work. So a lot of like these old animes and video games as well. I was like a super video game kid. And Forgotten Ballad is it's at the beginning it's adaptation of The Legend of Zelda, and it became its own thing. It's also related to music, and how do I wanted to make like an adventure game for
Mm-hmm.
more friendly and closer to child's imagination and world. But I think I drive a lot from video games, and I try not to be like naive about it. I like to consider it different medias. I like to learn from it, but I'm super
Yeah.
aware that they are
You
different.
can't use the same solutions for you use in a
No,
video game and RPG. It's like that's what happens with D&D for tradition, right? Like, yeah,
yeah,
let's play video games on a table. Like, it
it's
doesn't work as well on the table. Yeah,
it's
it's
not that.
great. World of Warcraft is great. I played a lot, but at a table,
Yeah.
doesn't work the same way. Yeah.
So I try to make the right questions, like if I'm going to adapt the Legend of Zelda for tabletop, I want to bring the feelings that that you get when you are playing, not adapt to the mechanics.
Yes, the vibe. Yeah.
Adapt the vibe,
Uh,
the kind of exploration game, the kind of game that don't worries about too much of your build, but more about the things you are carrying. So
mm-hmm.
if you're concentrating more about the vibe of the thing, the feeling, the texture, the aesthetic of the thing, you can, I think you can adapt it more uh,
Well,
in a way.
better in a
Yeah,
meaningful way. Like
yeah,
that makes
in
you
a meaningful
feel
way, yes.
like you're really having that experience that you want to have. It's like the not about how what you do, the buttons you press, but it's all about how you
It's
feel and navigate that world, like how you experience that world. It's
exactly,
all about uh, game designers have this weird job that we want to create experience, but we can't design experience. We have to design rules that maybe will help you get into that experience. So it's very weird, right? We it's as if we're driving this maybe this we're piloting this ship, but we're piloting it from like the below decks. Like we can't see exactly where it goes, but like, oh, adjust the
around
coordinates
there.
here and there, and let's hope it will get where we want to go, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we hope you go north and not south, and that's enough.
yeah.
That should be enough. But I think designers are always trying to control so much of the experience. Not only game
Yeah.
designers, but designers in many industries I see, they are trying to control so much of the experience, and you
Yeah,
have more to observe the experience and how
yeah.
people deal with and learn from it. Uh,
Because design is very this very weird thing that sits between like art and like engineering. So like there
yes,
are some designers that says that will take their design like, no, it's kind of art. I can't control how I interpret this, so I'll make it. If you think it's something else, great, I don't care. But there are
yes,
some designers that will say, oh no, this is a project, you have to see what's my intention, so you're not doing this, you're playing it wrong. And it's kind of, I don't know. I
yeah,
think it's more in the middle. You can have an intention and
sure,
you
sure.
can work your best to make your intentions clear and say, oh, here's the intention, here's how you play, but be aware that it's out there. It's not yours anymore. People want to make their own thing. They want to, you know, customize.
Yeah,
And it's like clothes. You buy a clothes, you always you do something like we make it your own.
yeah,
And I think that's inevitable. All right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
mechanics. Yeah, I think the mechanics you put it on RPGs are so delicate for me, because everything you put there, it bounces, it ripples in some kind of way in the experience,
Yeah.
and sometimes we are
Especially because you have that notion that the conversation is a mechanic too. Because there's a
yes,
lot of designers that think that only the math part is mechanics. No,
absolutely not.
everything that regulates how we interact in the game
Yeah,
is the mechanic, you know.
yeah. And it's so delicate. You make a small tweak here, and it will change the whole experience. People will interpret it in a different way. So you have to be always testing and observing, and you also have to be okay with the lacunarity of the game, that people will play their way. They will find their way. They will find their unique way to use your rules, and you have to deal with that. That's part
Yeah.
of the game.
As long as what you wanted can still be done with the rules, like your
Yeah,
intentions can be fulfilled. If other people can fulfill other intentions, that's fine too. I think
that's
that's
fine.
maybe
Yes,
even better, right? Even better because
even
it
better. Yeah,
gives your game more latitude, and maybe it will inspire other people to make their own thing, which is always fantastic. I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Totally agree.
Philippe, do you have any maybe thing that you identify as a strength or maybe an advantage that you put to good use when you do your work, do your craft?
Yeah. Wow, that's a hard question.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Like I mean, oh, I'm really good with tables. I'm really good with weird words or being this very discreet, elegant weird in my games. I'm good. I don't know. Do you
yeah,
think you bring anything that you want like? Oh, I'm proud that I do this. I think that really helps my work in a way or anything like this.
I I think what helps me is that I can do a little bit of everything. I'm kind of a duck. I can walk, swim, and fly, but I'm not great in all those things. But I kind of do a little bit
A
of
duck designer.
duck designer, yes.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome. Yeah.
I can do a little bit of writing. I can think about mechanics. I can illustrate my work. I can also do the layout. I can do a little bit of everything. But
What's your favorite thing to do between all of this? Like if you uh like you, I can do all of these things. And one of these adventures of we being able to do everything is that we even if you're not doing this, we know more about these elements and we can interact with other collaborators that do this and know what you're seeing, know what we can ask, know what you're doing, and be more flexible and better in dealing with other collaborators and making things better. Uh,
yeah,
but I, for example, I started as an illustrator. I'm a graphic designer, but I realized what I like best is writing.
wow.
What is it you like best?
Man, I don't know. I think it depends on the hyper focus of the moment, and I'm trying to like learn to surf on it, like
Yeah.
if I'm more in the vibe of drawing, okay, let's do the drawing of the book,
Uh,
let's do the drawing of the game, and explore a little bit of its aesthetics. But sometimes I'm feeling more like I want to write, I just want to write. So let's enjoy
yeah.
this moment. But I think it's clearer for me the things that I hate to do. Like I hate to do the editing in the revising of the book. I'm so bad at revising
Yeah.
my own stuff, and I'm always forgetting a little something, and like eating words, and I
Yeah.
I'm so
This
grateful.
attention to detail and concentration sometimes. Yeah,
Yes,
like
I
my
struggle
my
so
my
much.
wife is translating some of my games in Portuguese, like Screams
Oh,
Among the
cool.
Sur, and she's catching so much stuff for me to fix, in the English version. It's like, holy
Yeah,
fuck, how did nobody saw this? Because we had editors, we had other people going through the book, and like she's getting like a lot of stuff, and yeah,
yeah,
it's this forget a small word here, and maybe like I write in Google Docs, and when I go to InDesign or something or Affinity Publisher, forget one paragraph here or maybe something stuff there, and yeah.
yeah. There's always people commenting on my working like, man, where is this mechanic you're talking about? Where is it? And I just forgot to write about the
Uh,
mechanic. Or where is this? You're talking about this object in this adventure. Where is it? What is the third part
oh,
of it?
that's
And
a DLC, baby.
yeah,
DLC, baby.
you have to pay
Yeah, yeah,
extra
that's
to get the
behind the
item.
paywall. There's
Yeah.
there's an inside app purchase.
And a lot
Imagine,
of,
imagine with, oh, that's a great idea. We release a zine that comes for a page in the end, like, oh, do you want more? Pay this much, and you get more 3 pages, and we send you by mail or something. I don't know. That's something to think about.
that's terrible.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's
It's
terrible, but
funny.
it's funny. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so
You,
it's
you
it's
can
it's good.
distribute it for free and charge only for the extra thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you buy a zine, it's all blank. And like, oh, do you want the content of the zine? You got the cover, but like, you want the pages, you can, you know.
It can
Yeah.
send you.
What would you
Uh,
what would you say was the weirdest game you ever played, or maybe if the weirdest is very hard, like it's the biggest thing, but maybe something weird that you played recently, uh, that maybe helped you see games or game design or setting or anything in a different and weird way. And that can be role playing games, video games, board games, whatever.
yeah, man, I remember hearing you in other episodes asking the same question for other people, and I was, man, I'm about to get interviewed
Yeah.
by Diogo. How I'm going to to answer the question? But a game just came to my mind right now. Uh, Nier Automata. You know Nier Automata, the video game.
No.
It's a post-apocalyptic game where you play like an android, and it has one ending for every letter in the alphabet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a mix of a RPG game with action game and bullet hell game.
Wow.
Oh, and man, it has its contradictory things like some models of the girls and stuff like that, shitty things, but he has this like philosophical and it's one of those games. I won't spoil it, but the true ending of the game, it has like a so meaningful experience that only games can make. It's the kind of thing that only games can make, and the whole thing about it having like 24 different endings to the game. It's a thing that only games can make. But the I think it's the ending E of Nier Automata. It's, man, it's awesome. I won't spoil it. Go and play it. It's awesome. It's a cool game to play. It's so varied and so profound in some stuff that it touches, and the ending is just awesome for me. But it's so weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, well, I was looking the graphics and stuff here, like this big swords and kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but the robots are they are trying to imitate humanity, and
Mm,
some of the robots that you fight, they are named after philosophers and stuff like that.
wow, yeah,
And how it
sounds cool.
changes the mechanics, it's super weird, because sometimes you are playing an action RPG, and it suddenly during the battle it changes the camera. You're now playing a bullet hell with ships, with
Yeah,
spaceships. It's
uh,
so, but it's cool, man.
yeah,
It's so cool.
yeah. Do you, Philip? Do you have other hobbies? Besides role playing games, something that's maybe helps you get out of the head of a game designer and doing design every day. Uh, do you have anything that you do, anything creativity related that you do just for yourself?
Yeah. uh, I'm working so much, but I
Yeah,
used to have a band until
yeah. You
last.
had three bands. Yeah.
Yeah. I was a time when I had three bands, but I had been a band until last year, and
Mm.
as I was
What do
trying
you play?
to guitar, the
Oh,
electric, yeah, the guitar, and I'm not so good with the guitar,
it's okay.
but
I
it's
I I
okay.
I played guitar, bass, and drums, and I'm not good at all. But like for punk rock, it's enough. You know.
And that's my
Yeah.
region as well, my genre. Uh, so I
Ramon
played a little,
styles punk rock.
yeah. I play a little bit of the guitar sometimes. Sometimes I paint miniatures. I'm
Nice.
getting I'm on a hyper focus on drawing again. So I'm trying to draw a little bit on physical stuff and paper and pen stuff. But I guess that's it right now. Trying
That's
to
quite a lot. Yeah, that's quite
yeah,
a
it's
lot.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned in the beginning doing a lot of stuff, and in one of also ADHD like makes you go around the place. One of the marks of artists and creators too is this curiosity, to learn new
Yep.
things, and do new things, and and I love thinking that all of this stuff that we learn, there's always something that we learn we can apply to the stuff you want to do more. This phrase that I always repeat here, like for one thing, you can learn 1,000 things. Do
Yes.
you do you see anything that you learned or you did with painting miniatures, you know, doing music, and drawing anything that you can apply to making games and being a game designer?
Sure. Sure. I was reflecting about it yesterday, I guess, because I'm getting back to study drawing a little bit. Was uh, I think I never stopped to draw. I was always drawing, at least doing some scribbles here and there. But I'm taking some time to study a little bit and get back to the fundamentals. And I'm hearing a lot on on other artists saying that the learning of drawing, it's like a spiral. You are always uh, getting better, but you are also like doing getting back to the stuff you learned before with different lenses. And I think that's a mentality that is so good for life. You all everything you learn can be a spiral. You're always uh, getting better, but it's so good to get back to fundamentals and see it from a different lens, and relearn it, and you are it helped you get a little better. And drawing is also making reflecting a lot about my patience, about my reflection. I'm um, also so anxious about everything that I do. I always want to finish as soon as possible, and sometimes I think I don't. And for drawing, that's especially the case. They I usually want to sit down and finish the drawing by the time in that moment, and sometimes you can't do like you said about doing huge tasks. Some things you cannot do like in one sit down. You have to like spend hours, spend days. Some drawings you need to spend days on them and get back to it. It's not a thing that I'm familiar with uh, and it applies to drawing, but for so many things, and surely for uh, games some.
Absolutely. Like going back to the games you made, like second edition of Sharp Sword is coming out soon. Like it's on editing
Oh,
right
great.
now, and even the second edition I wrote like in 2020 or something. So it's
Wow.
been a few years, and but we're revising it and editing now, and there's something that a lot of stuff that I learned, and I'm able to go back and make it even better. And it's like when we see a movie a second time, right? It's always all these details, all these hidden things that you weren't paying that much attention in the beginning, and you learn
Yeah,
always better. But it was a bad movie, and you think it was good. You also realize why it's bad, why it's not working. You have a better understanding of the thing. Uh, it's like we're talking in the beginning, like this capitalism idea is always upwards, and you don't go back. That's not true. You can always
yeah,
learn more about yourself. Like you're never finished learning something, right?
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember when I get to college the first time, and I don't know what we were talking about, but I was talking about seeing tutorials, and I remember this girl. He started to laugh at me. Oh man, you are still doing tutorials, and I don't remember what I answered her, but for me it was like, of course I'm doing. I'm never
Yeah.
ready. I'm
Yeah.
never. There is always something new to learn about the tools, the stuff
Can
we are
always get
doing.
better.
Yes,
Right? If it's 1%, like 1% every day, or even every month, like in years, it will amount to so much. You know,
yes,
it's like it's the thing about patience. So you don't have to finish, don't have to improve today. But every small thing you learn, maybe a phrase someone said that makes you think about something, and you realize later. It's
yeah.
always something to grow.
Yeah, and I'm doing this kind of exercise and challenges that you do like 100 heads, 100 hands,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
man, when you see you start like seeing the first drawings, you actually see, wow, it's getting easier, it's getting better,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to
Yeah.
notice when you are
In the middle of it.
in the middle, yeah, but when you do this kind of challenge, it's so good, and you can also apply it to so many other
Yeah.
things.
And it's a training too. The challenge is also a training for you to sit down and do a project. So it's always great.
For
Felipe,
sure.
we're about an hour and 20 into the episode, and now I'd like
I
to
talked
maybe
a lot.
ask. No. It's great. I'm loving it. Like the more, the better. I always feel bad when I finish an interview with less than an hour and a half. Like I didn't push enough. I didn't ask the right questions. So I'm always grateful. And the chat here has been wonderful. We've been sharing so much about our process, the way we think, the way we do our work, and I'm sure the wonderful weirdos out there are learning something because I am. So I hope they are too, right? And what I'd like to ask you maybe is some more personal questions about your life, about your experiences, and about the weird, the part of the weird and all that. And I usually begin by asking, about religion, spirituality, if you believe in God or if you follow maybe any kind of philosophy that helps you understand your life, understand the struggles you go through. Do you have anything like this for you?
uh, Man, for me that's hard because I come from a Catholic family, but it's the kind of traditional family in Brazil that mix a lot of
Yeah.
faiths and religions. I I went to Spiritism. I went to some mixture of uh, Buddhism and Christianism.
Wow.
Also Ubanda and
Mm-hmm.
also evangelic churches as well. So I experienced a lot of things in religion, but I'm more atheist right now, I guess.
Mm.
But you get a
Well,
little bit of everything, and you build your own vision from it, I guess. My
what do you mean by atheist? I guess. Like, do you believe in God or like? Well, I don't think there is, but there might be something. How is that
it's
atheist? I guess.
it's more like I think there may be something. I think there may be some greater thing, but not in the sense. I don't think it's that
Have this
conscious.
well, that's all knowing, conscious.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna punish people. Yeah, yeah,
no, yeah. That was a thing that put me away from
yeah.
religion,
Mm-hmm.
especially Christianism, because
Yeah,
in the center, Christianism is the religion about love, and 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 just that. But in practice, people
yeah,
are talking about fear and punishment,
yeah, yeah,
and feeling guilty. And man,
yeah,
my
yeah,
dad don't want those things for me. Why God want those things for me?
yeah.
And
It's that
it
phrase
got
they
me
say
away.
like that God created us in His image. His, by the way, right?
Yeah,
He's a man. Fuck this. But like
yeah,
it's totally the other way around, right? We created God in our image because God is He gets angry. He's jealous. He does all these stupid human things. And I think if there was a God, they wouldn't be like us. They wouldn't be petty. They wouldn't be jealous. They wouldn't, you know, punish very fragile and mortal beings that compared to him are nothing for, wearing the wrong textile or loving differently or, I don't know,
yeah,
very insignificant things in the scale of the universe, in the scale of creation. So it, for me,
exactly.
also makes no sense for it to be in this kind of conscious, with all these rules and very, very authoritarian lord of things. It can't be this, and also
Yeah,
would be very unfair to all the other people that didn't grow in your culture and hear about this specific lord. It makes them like, so heaven we only have this kind of people there, all the rest of humanity is excluded. Like,
yeah.
no.
What about the,
Yeah,
the 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 other parts of the universe?
yeah,
What
yeah,
about it?
yeah.
it's
So
it's so selfish to think of God in that way. I remember as a kid thinking about it, and by the time I thought to myself, if if God is that way, is the
yeah,
guy that is punishing us. I think
yeah,
I better rebel against it. I don't
yeah,
want nothing to do with that guy.
yeah. And there's also this, if it is this, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck the guy. Huh.
I'll go to hell. I don't care. I
I
mean,
don't care. Yeah,
this is unfair. You're not nice. You're fooling yourself if you think you
I'm
are. Yeah.
always like criticizing people that don't have hobbies. I think I have so many things doing
Uh,
that I feel that people that don't have any hobbies that are so strange, and I think, man, this
God
God
needs a
guy,
hobby. Yeah.
yeah, this
This
God guy
God guy needs a hobby.
needs a hobby, guy. It needs something to do better
Stop
than
watching us, you
yeah,
creep. Go do something. Like you work for 7 days and now that's it. Go do
yeah.
something, man. We work here every day.
Get a miniature, go
Yeah.
painting, man.
And he grabs us like, okay, I'm gonna paint you now.
If you see me on
Yeah.
Diversão Live like in a different color, you know what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And even being agnostic, do you have anything that maybe guides you in your life in the way of doing things? Like, do any kind of values or philosophy that helps you in the difficult moments, like when you feel anxious, when you feel that everything is lost? Do you have any resource that you turn back to when those things happen?
Uh, I don't think I have like this great philosophy behind everything, but
Nobody
I
does, but I mean, do you
yeah,
have anything that maybe helps you, like even in a small way?
yeah. I used to say there was a band here in Brazil that has this music that they say respect is the law. for me,
Huh.
it's about that. Respect is the law, man. Respect other people, and like you like to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and
What's
for
the band? Kind of forgot.
Hankori, you know
Uh,
the band.
no,
It's like a post-hardcore band.
no.
It's good sound.
Okay,
I
yeah.
recommend
I'll
it.
look for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. But for me, it's about people are so different one from another that we need to
Mm-hmm.
respect. We want respect for ourselves. Why not respect other people? And I want to be respected at my home. I want to if people want to be respected by who they are. And for me, respect it's like this great thing. And also, but I also think this being raised in a
Religious.
Christianity,
Yeah.
in a religious environment, in the Christian environment, also gave me the good parts of it, the bad parts as well, because I feel
Oh
guilty
yeah.
about a lot of things that I shouldn't be guilty about. But
Do you feel guilt? You absorb.
yeah,
It's hard to in being raised.
yeah,
It's hard to not absorb so those things, but being able to try to absorb the good parts is it's very
yeah,
wise too. So you're able to maybe hold on to the things you think are valuable
yeah.
in that religious upbringing. What you would say are like the maybe one or two valuable things that you hold on to yourself and help to.
There's this sense of goodness and to be good with other people and charity and uh, like that is more like don't be a dick, man. Like don't be a dick with other people. And when
Yeah.
I has this friend that talks about uh, Jesus as a figure so different and so human from and different from what you used to hear about Jesus. Like, man, Jesus was a guy that gets angry and he like destroy a whole temple and start to but it was also a guy that turns water into wine. He was a party guy, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't turn water into sparkling water or juice. He turns into wine. He knew
Yeah.
the people need a party. He was so human, man. When you grasp to this part of the text and you see it as, oh, he was trying to do the better and respect here and there. And I don't know. There's some things we can take from that, and like this sense of being good and help the others, and don't don't do
Hmm.
like bad things you don't want to do to yourself. Like
Yeah.
that thing's kept with me.
For sure. Did you read the Bible when you were being raised, or because I
Uh,
was raised Catholic, but never got
nah, here and
into that.
there.
Yeah,
I tried, but it's a confused text, man. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
it's,
People say
it's not that
like
great.
there's the Old Testament, there's all the story. This God is very fierce, and then that's the New Testament, which is basically, oh, I was there. Jesus did this and that, and the other guy, no, that's all wrong, dude. I was there, and this did this. Like the same story being told. Like, no, you were totally drunk with wine that night. This is what happened, and they tell it again, and it's
Yeah,
kind of a funny drunken story of a religion, which is
they
it's
put
funny
it all
that way. Like,
together.
yeah, it's like, no, that's not what happened, dude. This is what happened.
I think that's why it works. Like everybody can relate to something in there
Yeah,
because it's so different
maybe.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you believe in anything else that's weird or maybe supernatural? Have you ever had any experience with ghosts or maybe other any creature for folklore in Brazil? Have you ever seen a chupacabra, or have you ever seen a
Uh,
werewolf, or even aliens? Have you ever had any contact with the supernatural?
man, I heard a lot of stories, but I never like uh, participated in any of that. But I'm surrounded by people that my wife even says that here and there she sees some things like a person that is not there,
In your
and
home, where you live now?
no,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
sometimes in the streets when she's
Oh,
driving, like she poked me. Is there someone there? Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not.
okay.
And I used to say that all the women in my family are witches because they all have the stories about
Wow.
otherly things. There's this story about my grandmother that she has. My mother says that she has a lot of strange uh, things in her house, like uh, image of saints and small like glasses with things inside and something like that.
Hmm.
And she used to say that when she died, only the Saint George will be up in her house, and he has like his uh, this really huge frame of Saint George. And they say that the day that she died, everybody went to her funeral, and when they get back to her house was all down, and only the wall with Saint George was up in the house.
Wow, wow, yeah. That's wow.
Yeah,
The power for yeah, power of
yeah,
faith, I guess. Then yeah.
I guess.
And have you ever had any other kind of weird experiences? Maybe have you ever had any near death experience, or maybe a out of body experience, or maybe a deep state of trance in a deep meditation that made you uh, have a different sense of awareness?
Uh, I don't know. I think with meditation when I was a teenager, uh, I tried this exercise to. I remember reading about it. If you concentrate in your hands, you start to feeling an energy and something flowing there. Uh, I
Yeah.
remember to have like this kind of feeling of something like flowing, touching my fingers once or twice, but I never was able like to see, and I don't know if I was like so intense in the meditation that it became like a trance or something like that. I was like a drunkard by my own mind, but I think that that is the closer sensation that I have to something otherworldly or something
Wow,
like that.
yeah, but that's something. I had
Yeah,
moments in meditation too, like felt like this. Sometimes they say, "Oh, you feel there." Sometimes you don't feel, but you're like still relaxing, still good. But sometimes you get to feel exactly what they're talking about, and those moments feel really, really, really magical and weird in a way.
yeah,
Like, wow, it's kind of I'm a wizard or something. Like, yeah,
yeah. There is
yeah,
this kind of meditation for you to sleep when you turn off the parts of your body. I don't know if you did it before, but it really works. It's strange. Like you concentrate, I'm turning off the toe in my feet, and oh man, I can feel my toe. I can feel my toe. Uh, so yeah, I think we are able like to feel uh, some things if you are concentrated enough.
yeah. In Felipe, if you don't mind asking, have you ever had experience with altered states of awareness, with either deep meditation, as you're talking a little bit more, or maybe with use of psychedelics? And if you did, have
I,
could you tell us a little bit of the experience, or no?
yeah, I had kind of an accident with
Oh yeah.
uh, because we are like working on this music studio. We are like painting the walls, and I was gluing the carpet, and I think I was gluing like really close to the carpet, and start to smell so too much of the glue, and also from the solvents on the walls. It was like this closed space with all those smells, and I start to feel sick, and I remember tell the other guys, man, I need five, and I went down the stairs of the studio, and there I rest in a poof. I remember to close my eyes, and when I opened it again, there was this painting on the wall that I mean it was like breathy music, and
Wow.
I start to see the notes floating, and I start to hear the music, and his hair was like floating around, and I I remember like closing my eyes and open again. It was moving. It was crazy sensation.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's weird, and maybe it's not the same thing, but uh, sometimes this kind of inspires you. You see something that isn't there and gives you idea. But was that everything that you saw? Have you had any experience in those states that maybe you reflected afterwards and gave you an idea for something or solution, or made you understand anything that was going on outside of that, or that was the weirdest experience you have with that?
Nah, I think that was the weirdest one. I can't remember. Like I had some friends that took ayahuasca, and they have like all those crazy experience and reflection,
Mm-hmm.
but I never had the chance to
Do you
prove it.
feel curious about it? Do you want to try it someday, or it's something you're kind of, I don't know if this is for me or?
A little bit, but I'm also worried. They say that you get super sick
Oh yeah, but
after
it goes
consuming.
away, right?
Yeah,
It's part of the process, it's kind of a
yeah,
purification in a way, because you're delving into something that you deal with some difficulties in, but you on the other side will be better in a way, right? Yeah,
yeah. Have you
I
tried?
not yet. I have tried, magic mushrooms and LSD, but I have plans to try ayahuasca in August
Oh,
with a
cool.
friend. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to explore, and because I have some realizations about, I was when I was discovering psychedelics was when I was discovering I was autistic. So a lot of my self understanding and stuff that happened in my childhood was also in therapy, but I also had some sessions with psychedelics that made me reflect of stuff that happened, understand me a little bit better. So I don't know. Yeah, ayahuasca may be another path to go a little bit deeper. I don't know. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious because I'm more. I'm in this phase of my life that I'm trying to be more aware of who I am and my limits and uh, what I'm comfortable doing and what I'm not
Mm-hmm.
comfortable doing, and it also part of me discovering as a ADHD
HDHD.
person. So I'm more open to this kind of things, but I think I need a friend to
Yeah,
also
yeah,
to do with me. I don't think I will
yeah.
like
It's
do it
good to
by
have
myself.
someone to feel safe. It's
Yeah,
being safe. It's really, really important. Otherwise, it won't work, and we'll get into a bad place. And it's important to have someone that you feel safe doing it, and things flow way better that way for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
And now get into these more whimsical kind of questions, or more the rapid fire. And one that I like to ask is, if you could choose something to dream about, what you would dream about at night, what would you choose to dream about, and why?
Wow.
Do you remember your dreams, or do you normally can't remember them?
I can't remember. I usually can't
Yeah,
remember that.
me
I,
neither. Yeah.
and I think last time I dreamed was about snails,
Would
and
you?
I hate snails, man. I have a fear of them.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
I
you
really
like to be able to remember your dreams, or you're just fine with just
no.
want to get some rest?
Yeah, I try to make like a journal, a dream
Mm-hmm.
journal,
Dream journal.
because they say that it helps to for you to remember your dream, to take some times after you wake up and reflect on your dreams. I would like to do it more, to remember more of my dreams, but man, your question is great. What I would like to dream about, and I don't
If
know.
I could dream about stuff, I would dream about uh, this project that I have. I wanted to do being released. Like this game that you want to make, that you can't make them. But I would love to dream about them being released and maybe in a con and meeting people and playing the game. That would be
That would
amazing.
be
I think.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. I guess. I guess I could dream about some friends or some people that I'm missing.
Yeah,
Also, like to have a feeling to be closer to them again.
yeah, yeah. And if you could live in any fictional world, whether it's from tabletop RPGs, video games, literature, movies, whatever, you could to live in any of them. Which one would you choose to live, and who would you be in that universe?
Uh, my head goes to a lot of places, but the second that I'm there, I remember that, oh, but that is things that moves the plot. That is bad in the place. I could be like, oh, I could be like in Dragon Ball world, but it's a word that almost ends a lot of times. you know?
Yeah, but maybe you could choose the period of time. Oh, that period that was more peaceful while living that age. For example, in Lord of the Rings, you could we live after the War of the Ring, after uh, we have a king there, and we'll go back to the Shire, and everything's peaceful. You could choose a period if you want to. I don't
Yeah,
know, or you would choose. No, I want to be an adventurer. I want to be the one charging. I don't know,
yeah. You
right?
say Lord of the Rings, and I'm not like. Uh, I don't feel the urge to live in Middle Earth, but I think it will be awesome to be a hobbit.
Yeah. Two
Sounds like
breakfasts, like a lot of meals, you
yeah,
know,
man.
and you can smoke pipe all day long. And
Yeah, it
I
sounds so
know those
cozy.
pipes, they're really high hobbits eating all day long. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
good
think I will
stuff.
be like an adventure hobbit, that as I can't choose
Yeah.
from one universe to be part in. I will be like a universe traveler hobbit, something like that.
Yeah.
A plane. I
That's
don't know.
great. And now the other way around, which is if you could take anything from this weird fictional universes and make that thing real in our own world, what would you choose to make it real, and why? And that thing can be, an object, an artifact, a location, an entity, a faction, any fictional element from this world and make it real in our world.
I would love to see magic happen, man. It's basic, but
Yeah.
magic will be so cool. Like to have this
How,
thing that you can learn and like
yeah. How would work magic in our world for you? Would be just learning, like recite spells. It's a willpower thing. Can it create things, or can it only transform things? Can it heal?
I love when magic it's closer to superstition and all these little ritual things. I love ritualistic magic when you have like to do a lot of random stuff and get something in the end. Uh, it's closer to our
Like a
universe.
recipe.
Yes, like a recipe. It will be
Yeah.
also like to have like a cooking book. Oh, you
Yeah.
can mix this and that, and you have like this stuff. That will be like really cool, and something that will spark my curiosity. I guess that's
Yeah.
something that I think that keep my interest.
Yeah, there is. I'm reading, a lot of Terry Pratchett's, and I was reading this book that they're like contrasting scientists with magicians, and like, oh, they do the same thing, but the magicians they have no idea what they're doing, so they think it's magic. The scientists they understand what, and for them it's science, and they know what you're doing. The magicians they're doing the same thing, but one has no idea, and they think it's magic, and the other's like, oh no, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, I think my
Yeah.
magic will be something like that.
Yeah. Awesome. And if you could choose any superpower to have, what superpower would you choose to have, and what would be the first thing you would do with that?
Uh, right now, the question always changes for me. Sometimes I want to teleport. Sometimes I want to get invisible. But I think right now I would like to stop time, like having 1 extra hour, so I could maybe tackle some project, maybe do something for myself, get an extra hour of sleep. I don't know.
The extra hours of sleep is it's very important. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, extra hour of work, and you the extra hours is yeah.
Yeah,
Time stop. That's gonna be a good one. Yeah. Do
yeah.
you do you sleep well, or do you always try to squeeze the most amount of time you can out of a day to do something, or do you take care of your sleep, take care of your time? Do you take care of you? Like, do you do exercise, or this kind of
Nah,
stuff?
I'm trying to get better to with that stuff. It all stopped before the pandemic. Before the
Yeah,
pandemic, I was doing my exercises. I was eating well. I was preparing to have a son, and man, world goes to shit, and everything goes
yeah.
with it as well. I'm trying to recover it, and we talk a little bit about it in private. And you recommend me this exercise app that I'm seeing a little bit about it, and try to get back to. I'm also doing swim classes that I
That's
didn't
great.
see
Yeah. Do
since
you
I
still
was a.
do them?
Yes, I'm still
Oh,
doing it.
good.
We are like planning uh, uh, to pay for how do you call it, like a heated water, to use like a heated pool in some places. We are trying
Yeah.
to get one to keep up with the
Winter. Yeah. Winter is
yeah.
coming.
Yes, exactly. And the water is so cold, man. It's hard to keep up right now.
Yeah.
But
It's
I'm
always
trying
a
to.
struggle here. Yeah. My
Yeah.
kid does swimming class. Winter is always
uh,
hard.
you
Yeah.
get all your excuses to avoid the classes.
Yeah.
But man, with sleep it's hard for me. It got better when my son it was born, because I didn't have like the privilege uh, to I don't know, like to postpone my my
Oh, your bad
my
time.
yeah, my sleep. So every chance we had to like sleep, I
Oh
put my
yeah.
head on the pillow and
Yeah, it's
but
especially the first years we barely sleep, but I mean, after a
yeah,
while, you'll be able to sleep again. Yeah,
yeah. But right now I'm struggling again with getting to sleep and getting to bed in the first place,
yeah,
and get off the bed as well.
yeah.
It's
That's
it's,
also
it's all
always
hard for
hard.
me. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Felipe, this is the last question I have prepared here. Is do you remember the last time you felt really happy? Just grateful for being here and being alive. And if you do, can you share with us when was that and what was that you were doing?
Uh, I think it was just this weekend when I was doing like barbecue for my mom and my grandmother. Uh,
Nice.
I always
Mother's
feel,
Day.
yeah, Mother's Day. I always feel like grateful for this kind of moments when I can have a pause and be uh, with people that I love, and do stuff for people that I love. I love to. I have this relationship with food that I love to make food for people that I love. So I feel like really happy, really grateful to be in that moment. So was not that
Nice.
long ago.
And what do you like to cook best? What do you like? I want to cook something for someone. What do you like to cook best for them?
I love to make risottos and trying different
Oh,
recipes for risottos,
risottos.
but something that someone told me, a friend told me just yesterday that she loved my guacamole. It's a simple
Excellent,
recipe,
excellent. Yeah.
but always make people happy. So I'm
Yeah.
always grateful to make guacamole.
But do you use the avocados that they use there, or do you use the abacates that we use here? Because
No,
for
the
me, that's the
avocado.
big, yeah, that's the big difference. Because people use the normal abacates,
Mm,
it's all
not the
soapy.
same.
It's terrible. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
doesn't work. Doesn't work. Yeah, and they
it's
have
not the same.
Mexican restaurants here in Rio that they use the normal avocado. No, you can't. You
No,
can't.
man.
You can't. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
and there is also the right tomato. I was once was told by a Mexican that you have to use the Italian tomato, the
Oh
one
wow.
that is taller, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
they're
not that
longer.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they're longer. And for me, doing the guacamole, it's funny because I don't have like a super restrict recipe. I do it by eye, like
Me too.
like yeah. I look at it and I know that it's all right. Like, oh, it's the right amount of things. I think it's good enough.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. My wife here is always. I'm responsible for the guac here too. Like you go to
Uh,
the yours the good one. And yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, awesome, cool.
Felipe, those were all the questions I had for you. We are getting to 2 hours, which is great.
Yeah,
You didn't talk too much. I talked a lot too. I always see when I'm editing and I see that I talk less than the guest. I'm like, yes, I did my job. But when I see like the lines are equivalent, like, what the fuck? Why I was talking so much? Anyway, thank you so much for coming here. Do you have any last words for the wonderful weirdos out there that still listen to us?
sure. Well, thank you a lot for having me here. For me, it's wholesome to have this opportunity. I think I get into RPGs. Uh, I remember when I saw in this Brazilian store your Lost in the Fantasy World zine, a pamphlet, a cool
Wow.
pamphlet, and I saw it and man, it get it to me, and I said to myself, wow, I need to do stuff like that, like these beautiful things, this cool RPGs. I want to do it. So for me to be here in your show to talk with you, it's wholesome. It's a super pleasure, man. Thanks a lot for having me here.
Oh, thank
And
you so much for saying this. That we were saying like this. These small things make so much difference for us and connects us, and I'm super happy. So this is one of the moments of gratitude for me. So yeah, awesome.
no,
Thank you.
thank you. And for everybody who is listening, if you are thinking about uh, doing some stuff, just do it. Here in Brazil, I heard from a lot of people that are trying to make their first RPGs. A lot of people say to them, "Oh, you don't need to do. There's a lot of RPGs right, like." around there, but we don't have your RPG, we don't have your
Yeah.
projects, you don't
Oh
have
yeah.
your stuff. So
And
do the
imagine
stuff.
if people said that about movies. Why we're making a new movie? We
Yeah.
already have. That's
We
it.
already have a lot of movies. Why you're doing?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Just do your stuff. Only you can do the stuff you do.
Yeah.
So don't be shy about it. Just throw it in the world. We'll ripple with somebody else for sure.
Oh yeah, and I love this phrase that says everything that needed to be said has already been said. But since nobody was listening, you can say it again. You know.
Yeah.
That's it. Like we don't have enough humans. Why are we having babies? It's like this. Like, of course we don't need it. We don't need a lot of things, but we
Yeah.
do it because it's fun. It's an expression. It's the game is not only a game. It's an expression. It's a piece of art,
Exactly.
right? And we put a lot of words. We're like communicating with each other. And it's like movies. Oh, there's already Star Wars. Why are you making another science fantasy movie? That's would be saying it's the same thing as saying why do you make a new game? There's already so many games.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
But the
Fellipe-
word is different. You're a different person. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you take us out saying the catchphrase of the show? Keep it weird, everybody.
So thank you a lot, everyone. Thanks for listening. Keep you here and keep it weird, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Weird Games and Weirder People. If you'd like to keep up with the show, please subscribe to be notified when we release new episodes. If you'd like to support us, please leave a review or head on to code-fi.com/WGNWP. See you next time, and remember, weird is the new wonderful.